That was impressive, but we still have a lot to do.
Great job! I knew you could do it if you believed in yourself.
Was that just the avatar showing a bit of teeth? Yeah, it is. Like, look, when he opens his mouth like that, his teeth shine through, and it just looks so bad. So let's go into Casino Forest.
I think I used up all my wishes for the rest of my life, but it's worth it. Come on, we have to go find him and tell him about Eggman's plan. Whatever his plan is. Eggman said something about Sonic being in Mystic Jungle.
Okay, so this particular level is a good showpiece as to why I think Sonic Forces Classic Sonic is a big downgrade gameplay-wise to pretty much every other game that's had Classic Sonic in it. Because this is clearly trying to do the whole like carnival casino level that basically every Classic Sonic game has. But it controls like absolute shit, and you're quicker just going the low route like I'm doing here than actually trying to figure out how to make these flippers and bounce pads and shit work. And it's also very blocky level design, which I'm not a fan of. They kind of started that approach to things with colours, and although I love colours to pieces, that was definitely one of the like things against that game. But they cranked that right up to 11 in this game, and I can't say I'm a fan of it. Out of the 3 gameplay styles, or I guess 4 gameplay styles with the co-op tag team ones, Classic's definitely the weakest, I would say. And it's like, it's kind of going against why I like actual Classic Sonic games, because the blocky level design goes entirely against it. Classic Sonic, the thing that put Classic Sonic above Mario back in the day for me was that momentum, and I realise that there's probably like a million fucking like pretentious video essays about this, but using momentum to make you go faster is pretty much how Classic Sonic rewards you for playing skillfully there. It'd be like either you time your jumps and your rolls and things like that perfectly and you get to speed through the level really fast, or you don't and you have to go the slow way. And that's kind of like the modus operandi of Classic Sonic. But when the levels are so blocky and every fucking hill has a block or like a slowly moving platform at the bottom of it, you just kind of can't experience that. It's just not as rewarding, I should probably say. Okay, we've got another avatar level, so I feel like I will go and change up the avatar a little bit now, just to kind of keep things fresh. I want to keep... Actually, do I want to keep the monkey mask or do I want to be a cowboy? I want to be a cowboy. Yeah, I'm going to have the cowboy hat. Man, Sanzawa really did kind of come and go since this game came out, huh? I wonder what she's up to these days. Let's have the shadow gloves. I'm wondering how much I want to change, because I haven't got one of these. Maybe I could have a headset. I wonder if that would fuck up the mask. No, it sort of works. Given the characters are talking on walkie-talkies, it makes sense for him to have one of these. Even if it does go against the whole cowboy aesthetic. Footwear, I feel like I've had me fun with the Crocs. So... I don't know, I feel like I've overdone the monkey ball stuff as well, so... I don't know, what are those? I guess the colour sort of fits, so I'll keep them for a little while. Yeah, I feel like that's... respectable. But yeah, let's go on to Aqua Road as the avatar.
They're coming from the laboratory, the one where Sonic fought Infinite.
It's probably another of Eggman's robots.
Life readings, 2 of them. Definitely not robots.
Hey, Rookie, go to the lab and check it out.
There we got the slippy slidey level.
The 2 life readings near the lab up ahead.
This particular level is a little bit of a difficulty spike, and it primarily is because of these little slidey sections. Because you're like slipping all over the fucking shop. Like, you get knocked around by the enemies if you try to do anything clever.
Just to go with the flow.
Let's try and go this way without getting killed. Like I was saying, if you do anything clever, you are risking your life, and that little swerve there that I just did to get on this path, I'm dead. I knew that was going to happen. I knew that if there was going to be a death that I kind of have to leave in, it was probably going to be in this level.
They're enemies. Taking them both on might be a big ask for the rookie.
But yeah, maybe the cowboy hat wasn't a good idea. I can imagine this being like 100 times more terrifying if you're worrying about your hat falling off while doing shit like this. I'm gonna go the safe route this time, if it will let me, and hopefully I won't die. In theory. One thing I have seen people do with this level is there are ways, like speedrun ways, glitch ways, that you can trick the game into keeping you in this slidey state during sections where you're not meant to be sliding in the water. And you can use that to sort of skip way ahead. I couldn't tell you the specifics of that because I'm a fucking scrub, like you saw me get flown right off the edge. But like, I think it's around there that they actually use it to do a really cool skip. Oh god, I'm off on one of the side routes. This could end really badly.
Be sure to give it all you got, Rookie.
Round I go. Apologies if the commentary is a little bit shit. Well, I'm trying to concentrate here, I got nothing.
Reinforcements will arrive soon, so meet up with them.
Yeah, there you go, that's the level. Once you get past the slides, once you figure out how to work the slides, yeah, alright, you stand a chance, but whew, them slides can be tough. I've just realised that my character with them bright purple boots and the cowboy hat. That's quite an unfortunate stereotype, but that's showing there. I might have to change him. Like, I want to keep the cowboy hat, but I might have to change the boots. We got a reward for earning honours as a bird. Some of the missions do seem a little bit arbitrary. Some of them, I think they change on a daily basis, so if you play this on a different day, you probably get different rewards there, but you know. Them boots, they almost kind of remind me of the character designs from the early cartoons. Like, that's a very Sonic Underground kind of look that he's got going on there.
Tails!
I was so worried. I thought you were...
You worry too much. Look, I'm perfectly fine.
Now we've got
It's been generations since I've seen you.
the line. That line's funny. I know it's very meta-era writing. It's meta-era writing in a nutshell, really, but it made me laugh. And once I've laughed at something, I can't then backtrack and say that it's not funny, really, can I? So we now have taken control of just over 14% of the world. We're slowly taking it back from Eggman. Not going to worry about the bonus levels, because we have another boost level coming up. But before I forget, I'm going to change the avatar. Let's change the boots. That's all I'm really worried about right now, because, yeah. He looks like he's going to tell you where the YMCA is. I'll leave it at that. And that's even worse. Nothing is helping. Like, the fucking Crocs are probably better in that respect, Jesus. No, I'm just making it worse for myself the more I pick. Let's have... they'll do. Because I do like the cowboy hat look. It is pretty cool. I'm not going to do the SOS mission. I'm going to go straight on to Sunset Heights.
Eggman said when the plan is completed, we'll all be wiped out.
Eggman says a lot of
I like the
things.
sound of that. Normally I just laugh at an Eggman plan. He's already conquered most of the world, so what's this plan of his?
Given you're the one who gets tricked every time, Knuckles, you're not really in a position to just laugh at Eggman's plans, because they normally work against you at the very least.
The last time I saw him, he was fighting for Eggman.
That doesn't make sense. Why would Shadow help the enemy?
Perhaps he's being controlled by that strange power.
To be fair, Shadow usually works for his own interests more so than anyone else's, so it's not really out of character for him to ally himself with whoever's convenient at the time. But this particular level, this is stage 15. We're now at exactly the halfway point of the game. And the level design is still this. I remember seeing this. This was one of the earliest levels that we saw gameplay of back in the day. I say back in the day as though it wasn't only 5 years ago. But when we saw this, I was thinking like this gameplay looks a little bit simple. The level design seems a bit too basic for Sonic. And I thought like that must mean it's just like level 1. Like maybe this would be an intro level. Because this has the level design that would be fitting for a level 1, but it's not, it's the fucking halfway point, and the game doesn't exactly get much more complex beyond this. And I feel like that's kind of where the problem lies with Boost Sonic, because Boost Sonic in itself, I think has a lot of potential. It's never fully executed that potential. But you play the boost levels in Sonic Generations, and they're fucking great. And the boost levels in Unleashed are especially solid, even if, like, you know, some of the performance back on the 360 weren't exactly great. But they just really oversimplified it in this game, and it looks like they've really oversimplified it in the cyberspace levels and Frontiers too. And I don't know whether that is them not really understanding the appeal of modern Sonic and just throwing anything at the wall on hope it sticks. But I feel like there's a lot of wasted potential here, and it kind of feels like modern Sonic, Boost Sonic in particular, is being weaned out of the franchise, which is kind of a shame, really.
Alright, Shadow, what's the deal?
Chaos control!
Here he is, here's the lad.
Shadow?
Shadow is so fucking cool. Shadow, he is the coolest.
This is a fake.
A fake?
Faker? I think you're the fake Shadow around here.
Can create virtual reality projections. They have mass and form, but no heart and soul.
It's finally spelling out for us what's going on here. Why we've been seeing all these other characters showing off. It's virtual reality. It's basically what Infinite is using the Phantom Ruby for. And that's another thing that I think is kind of a shame, in that they set up this little story arc with Mania, with this game, and then with Mania's Encore mode of like the Phantom Ruby generating illusions and that. I feel like that's a cool idea that they could do more things with if they so desire. But it feels like the Frontiers, and I may be completely wrong, like I say, I'm recording this like a couple of days, like about a week before Frontiers comes out. But it seems like they're not using that in Frontiers, and it seems like they're probably just sort of wrapping up this story arc, especially since they've got Ian Fling right now and he's not really taking over, he's doing his own thing. Not that I fault that, because I do like what I've seen of Ian Fling's work, but you know. It's kind of a shame that there's this one particular story element that they seem to be moving past.
I thought up this strategy in about a minute and a half. We're going in hard and fast.
Knuckles is
We're not gonna
leading
stop
the
till
resistance
Eggman's army
here,
is destroyed.
and he's thought up a strategy in a minute and a
Sonic is busy
half.
fighting Shadow.
This
The
is
rest of us can do
promising.
this. We've got the strength and the spirit to win. There's no finer group that I'd want to fight with.
Ha! Great speech! Let's give Eggman an old-fashioned beatdown.
They have more in sheer numbers, so the idea of a quick, focused attack isn't bad. We also have Sonic. I mean the other Sonic. So I have no doubt we can do this.
You could have just said that we have
We
both
can destroy the
Sonics.
Phantom Ruby.
I'd seem a little
We
bit
should
less
be able
insulting
send
to
the other
modern Sonic.
home. At least I hope so. This is all new territory for me.
Okay, let's head straight for Eggman's HQ. Time to save the world, people!
Please stop showing your teeth.
Alright, time for Operation Big Wing.
So this is one of my favourite music pieces for the Avatar here. The capital city theme. And it's just got the exact right kind of energy to it that you want at this point in the game. Like, we know what's going on now. We know what the plan is. We can see it in action. There's a bit of a direct face-off. So we're getting some cool techno as we just sort of run through the city and do what we gotta do.
Isn't real.
It's no use. Our troops are scattering in the confusion.
But I've seen some people kind of compare the aesthetic of the massive infinites to Perfect Chaos. I don't really see it myself, but like the general ideas there of, you know, there's a massive thing destroying parts of the city and people are likely dying in droves there. I'll tell you what, that particular section was kind of obnoxious to try and get a clean run down through for when I was doing my long play of this game back in 2017. Because it's like a lot of little things that could knock against you, which for a live playthrough like this I'm not too fussed about. I say at least until I start trying to edit this together, but yeah, when you're trying to do a non-commentary run of this and you want it to be clean, you don't want too many hits or anything. Little sections like that do get a little bit annoying.
Is our only hope now. We can't go on like this. As much as it pains me to say it, the best we can do now is
The whole like plan that Knuckles threw together in a minute and a half doesn't seem to be paying off too well. Like, you can turn off all those little messages of the characters calling you mid-level, but I quite like them in this game actually. It adds a lot of character. It's a massive leap above what we had in Generations within the final boss when they did it there. I can say that much for sure. Oh, we got a hard hat. I am tempted, lads. I am tempted to get the hard hat on. Yeah, we got the boss for the Avatar next, so I think I am going to put the hard hat on and then go into it. Where is it? There it is. Now the suit itself starting to look a little bit out of place, because like the top half of him says I'm on a construction site, and like the torso says I'm on my way to the office. And the shoes look like I belong in a fucking circus. Let's see. Oh, psychedelic. I kind of wish that he had trousers though. That is really distracting. No. Oh no. If it was just an apron and not the shorts, I'd be more comfortable with that. But alas. Look, okay, the shirt and tie make him look more naked. Even that, the Christmas outfit, that could do better if it actually went further down him. But, I don't know, they have this weird policy that male Sonic characters don't wear trousers except in very specific circumstances. So I guess we'll stick with that for now. Versus Infinite.
More ants to crush. I wonder if this world can offer me a real challenge. Huh? And as if to answer, the world sends me a trembling...
I can even recognize us in this getup.
Let him die here, or run away in fear again.
Hey, don't be scared. This is your moment to shine. Keep going. Don't let your fear own you.
Fine.
That would have been a lot more effective if we actually had a cutscene earlier where we saw Sonic saying those things to him. But that just came off like it's generic supportive advice without any sort of attachment. So for this boss, I'm going to give you one very easy, simple bit of advice. Burst Wisp. Even if you've been using another Wisp on up to this point, switch to the Burst Wisp, you will thank me, and you'll see why in just a second. So he does this little dart down here, then you can just wail on him like this. And in just one round, one cycle, that's half of his health gone. Now this cycle here, he will start bringing in the reg shit, and that's what you got to be careful of, because if you get touched by that, then all the VR shit kicks in. But otherwise it's... There we go. I won the boss before I could even finish explaining it. Like, Infinite in this game, in both of the bosses we've had, he's been kind of fucking pathetic. Like, he put the Asteroid Wisp there, and I haven't even tried that. So, unless it lets you beat him in one cycle somehow, I don't know how you'd even do that, I can't see it being better than the Burst Wisp. Do I really want to be walking around with Knuckles on my character's shirt? Like that one I must have spent more time on the ending screen than the actual boss itself.
I remember you. You ran from me before. You survived then. But you throw it all away now. This will be goodbye. What? How is this possible? It can't be.
I guess this is some kind of Phantom Ruby equivalent of Chaos Control.
No matter. They have only 2 days left. Let them contemplate the inevitable. Till I end this once and for all.
Okay, this is a very minor thing, but it's something that stands out to me whenever we get a shot like that in any kind of like cutscene in a game or scene in anime or whatever. Why do they always turn their backs to the person who's just been attacking them? Like that's becoming a bit of a pet hate of mine, because that's just stupid.
Fake shadow was created using the Phantom Ruby's power, right? Even if it's a virtual reality projection, it's as strong as the real shadow.
Rouge, have you found the intel I was looking for?
No, not yet. But I have reports that Eggman's database is located at the chemical plant. If we can check that out, we might find something there.
That sounds like a promising lead. We have to figure out the secret behind Infinite's power and virtual reality. Tails, can you handle this?
Got it. I'll take Sonic, I mean the other Sonic, with me and
I do kind of like the dynamic here where Tails has pretty much adopted Classic Sonic. Anywhere that Classic Sonic goes, Tails comes with him, and vice versa. It's just kind of cute, really, more than anything.
There should be a database somewhere. We have to locate the
And I've got to show this off. This is just a little bit limp that when you get launched up there. And I guess the only way you could probably make that work is if you spin dash, but that's not how Classic Sonic would act in, like, say, Sonic 2. This is another not exactly great Classic Sonic level. I think the only one that I think is not bland and I would rather not be playing it is probably the first one, Ghost Town. Other than that, they're all a little bit mid. Well, they're either mid or just bad. This one I'm not sure where I'll put it. I would say probably leaning more toward bad because there's stuff that slows you down even more later. Oh, the Mega Mac is already here. One thing that you will notice if you ever hang about in this level, it feels like the drowning kicks it. Hang on, sorry, cutting myself off, but like, look at this shit. Just run up, just a bit limp. You have to use the spin dash there, even if you've built up speed from the loop. But yeah, like the drowning seems to kick in way quicker than it ever did in any other Sonic games, and it almost feels like that might have been an oversight because it just seems like such a bizarre decision to make, especially given the underwater section is such an insignificant part of the overall level.
Whoa, the water level is rising. Something must have
If you're worried about this having like the fucky section from Sonic 2, it doesn't. Your mileage may vary on whether that's a good thing or not. But like, look, we're already kicking into drowning. It kind of really speeds along for some reason. I wonder if that's like, I think it is an oversight, but the only logical explanation why you'd do that as a decision is maybe because the level's so much shorter that, yeah, they might have just paced everything else accordingly too. But even then, I feel like that's reaching a little bit. I always get hit by that fucker. That's why I like to have the shield there ready. And that was Chemical Plant. We've got a second gamer cap. I'm getting more and more tempted by the minute. I might do another avatar level with the hard hat and then switch things around. As I've just seen, I got the flippers too.
Whew. So, this is where the database is. Hold on a sec while I access the data from this computer. Okay, failed battle plans, robot designs. Wow, he's got like 10 terabytes of selfies. So where does
Pontac and Graph Humor. I'm gonna stop on this one because I feel like I need to draw attention to this. This is the sort of thing I mean when I say that they're forcing in comedic moments. Like, I'll give the benefit of the doubt and say that that's comedic, and like they're forcing in those moments into a part of the story that doesn't need it. This works against the mood of the particular level, and not only is it working against it, but it also it's too on the nose. I think 10 terabytes of selfies. Like, that's just stupid. I'm not trying to be like the joke explainer here, but that is just fucking stupid. Like, come on.
Found it! Virtual reality weapon, the Phantom Ruby. A weapon that takes control of people's visual and depth perception.
Like, if you're gonna make a joke like that, I feel like subtlety is the best way to do it. Make comments about Eggman having loads of photos of himself, whatever, do that. 10 terabytes of selfies, that's just going to an unnecessary extreme to the point where you've made it not funny anymore.
And then incorporated the final version into Infinite. If I'm reading this data correctly, then there might be a weakness. This is huge! Let's get this information back to the others.
Okay, we got another co-op thing going on here. Red Gate Bridge, I remember what this is.
I like sitting on the bench.
This is where we encounter the virtual Metal Sonic.
Way to jinx it!
There we go.
Sonic has been spotted in the city!
Is it another fake?
Why would they bother making a fake out of something that already isn't real? Couldn't they just build more? Either way, it's getting wrecked. Let's go, partner.
I feel like Metal Sonic is one of those characters now where there is the Metal Sonic. It just wouldn't be the same if you started making other Metal Sonics. And the fact that like he is distinct to other characters that have had that sort of design mentality as it is. Like, Metal Sonic is distinct from Silver Sonic, for example. If you were to mass produce Metal Sonics, I feel like it'd lose a bit of the soul.
It's lights out for you.
I remember during the Segathon run where I forgot to push the button there and died. That was embarrassing. There he is.
Thanks to the Phantom Ruby too, huh? Eggman's new invention is a real pain in the neck.
I'm not too keen on how they made him so unnecessarily big. I feel like Metal Sonic was at his best. Like, and just generally is at his best when he is basically blow for blow Sonic. Kind of makes the whole rivalry thing that much more effective. Probably should have kept some boost for here, but never mind. Oh, probably should have also done that when there weren't so many enemies around. But yeah, this isn't a hard boss, it's just a game of timing to make it go smoothly. And also preserving boost, which I am far too impatient to do. Some more hits in. Music here, they're remixing the US version of Stardust Speedway for once, which I appreciate that they're doing that as a change, because they usually use the European and Japanese one. But I do fucking love the European and Japanese one. That is, in my mind, that is one of the definitive Metal Sonic themes to me. That, along with South Island from the OVA, and I guess what I'm made of. Like, the South Island theme from the OVA is one that always comes back to me, because like, that is just such a sick riff. And there's actually a great mashup out there that I've seen that is Stardust Speedway JP mixed with that South Island theme. It is so fucking cool. That is Metal Sonic just in a song. I don't want that hair, if that's okay. I might have the monocle. I might be a stereotype after all. If you were reading any of that shit, then you're a better man than I.
Like a well-oiled machine. Fighting a well-oiled machine.
Huh?
No, we're taking over more of the land here. Still a minority, but we're getting there. I'm not going to do that if that's okay with you. Okay, so we're up to Guardian Rock next. I remember what level that is, but let's do some more changes to the avatar. What other wisp ones do I have? Again, I'm not going to use them, but we've got Cube, which seems very situational as it was in colours. That's just the advanced, well, that's the advanced cube, that's the standard cube. We've got Drill. I've seen people do some cool shit with Drill, but I don't think I'm skilled enough to pull it off. And Asteroid. But now I'm going to stick with the enhanced burst. So, upper headgear, no, middle headgear. That's what I think I want for the monocle. Is it? Oh yeah, there it is. I am blind, don't mind me. That really clashes with a headset thing. Now, don't know if I want the gamer hat yet, because that just looks stupid. That also looks stupid. That looks stupid, but in a good way. So we'll use that. And I feel like we should probably change the shoes as well. It's been a little while. Yeah, it's not bad. Character design is my passion.
Great work, Tails.
Based on these readings, the Phantom Ruby requires an incredible amount of energy, which only the Death Egg can provide. We simply stop the energy transfer, and boom! The Phantom Ruby is practically useless.
Simply? Last I checked, the Death Egg is a heavily fortified, well, Death Egg.
That's the technical term for it, Knuckles.
True, but I came up with a plan. First, we distract Eggman. While he's not paying attention, we use the chemical plant computer to hack into the Death Egg's weapon systems and shut it down. With no weapon,
This has always been one of my
destroying the
favourite
Death Egg
parts
would be a
of
piece
storytelling
cake.
in Sonic,
No
when you
Death
have
Egg
the gang
means the
split up
Phantom
to do
Ruby is
things. We
nearly
kind of had a
useless.
similar sort of thing with the Dark Side story in SA2.
Just crazy enough to
It
work.
kind of just...
So, first we
It
need
gives
to-
a logical reason why we're switching between all the different characters, and I
Wait,
like that.
Knuckles, you're too easily distracted. That's not a good trait for a distraction. Plus, you're our commander. We kinda need you here.
How about the rookie? Eggman would never.
Knuckles seems like one of those people who probably failed his way to the top here. Oh my god!
Rookie.
Do not open your mouth, Avatar. Jesus fucking Christ, look at that! Oh god. That got me, that got me. Here I am just marching way through with my fucking Viking hat.
It's a multi-legged battle mech. The energy readings are off the charts.
So Eggman had another weapon up his sleeve.
Now, I do remember this level has some tricks, so while you do want to go fast wherever you can, you do still need to keep your eye open, because sometimes it will just destroy a platform in front of your face. And I'm going to try not to let that happen to me here.
Diversionary tactics are all about the decoy you use. Just go wild and get their attention.
Don't push your luck too far, though.
But this is fun, I like pushing me luck with a flamethrower. It's not this section, but I think it's the section that looks like this that comes up in a little while. Gotta be very careful here. That bit there, like, do you see that bridge there? That disappeared on me. Like, if you don't know that's coming, you will just run straight through it. I don't think I'm gonna need that many rings, just a hunch.
Hold on. There's a massive energy.
Especially since I have the, like, shield thing on this Swiss one setup. But anyway, here's a giant enemy crab. What a classic.
We can't let this thing get to the chemical plant. Keep it busy there as long as you can, rookie.
Just got to keep my eyes open for this. Sometimes the checkerboard blocks that he's throwing sort of blend in with him for me, and that's probably because my eyesight is a bit shit, but still. Yeah. Went a bit quick, but hey, like I said earlier, the QTEs don't actually matter in this game. Alright, how did I do? Tempting. I don't think I've seen that one before, the clown nose. Got Omega's legs. Got a different colour cowboy hat, but I think I've done my time with a cowboy hat now. Yeah, we're catching up with him.
I'm almost at the chemical plant. How's the rookie doing with the distraction?
So far, so good. We might have to stop using the nickname Rookie if the kid keeps this up.
This is a great example of when people are nicer about you behind your back than to your face.
Perfect. I've been waiting for my turn to bust some heads.
Alright, let's do some modern chemical plant.
The rookie did a great job as a decoy. Time for you to do your thing. We have to capture the chemical plant. If anyone tries to stop you, take them out.
Say no more. They won't know what hit them.
So that's an opening to a level that has a similar problem to the problem I have with the first level in the game, actually, in that that's a scripted section with the characters talking, but the whole time you're doing that, and even up to now, you're not given any boost. So this entire opening section, this first like 30 seconds of the level, is going to be exactly the same every time you play it. And I think that's a shame, really, because when it comes to modern Sonic, by nature, the levels are at their best when they're replayable. Like, if you think about the Generations take on Chemical Plant, I've replayed that level so many times because it's fun just going that little bit quicker each time as you get more of a feeling for what it is. But if you're going to be doing the same 35-40 seconds exactly the same every time you play it, it kind of takes the appeal of doing that away from it a little bit. And like, scripted sections in Sonic games, it's nothing new, nothing out of the ordinary. But having it right at the start of a level probably isn't the best idea, at least in my eyes. Also doesn't help that this song is nowhere near as cool as the Chemical Plant modern theme from Generations either. I realise that's probably more of a subjective thing, but I don't know, like the modern Sonic themes here, the only kind of level really that I haven't talked about the music from, it's okay. There's some good songs. Eggate was great, for example. The rest of them are just kind of forgettable, at least compared to other modern Sonic themes. Like the soundtrack from Unleashed is fantastic. The soundtrack from Generations is fantastic. And so to follow that up with modern Sonic themes that are good or okay, it's just kind of a step down, really. That's all. Yep, I need a second round of unlockables. Now I need a third round of unlockables. This is a bit stupid. Like, I haven't looked this up. I've only ever seen speedruns. Oh, a fourth round of unlockables. I've only ever looked up speedruns for the individual levels where I've seen people do a cool trick or whatever. But it would not surprise me if there's a strat to deliberately play the level worse so you get less of that. We're in the majority now. Because like, it seems like this game, although it's quite a fast-paced game, you spend so much time on that ending menu. When it would have worked a lot better if they just put everything you've unlocked just on one screen that you could just press A and tap through. It doesn't need to show the items to you, like 1 or 2 items at a time. Didn't mean to skip Vector there, but I guess Tails talking is more important.
Hey, the defense system's still up. I thought we shut it down.
Probably switched over to auxiliary power. Not to worry, Sonic is on the job. He'll find a way through.
Good old classic Sonic physics doing their thing again. This is one of the more imaginative of the classic Sonic levels in this game, but it still does feel a little bit awkward to play because of how the physics work. And just the general control here. Like, I'd be beating a dead horse if I just kept on comparing it to like the Mega Drive games at every opportunity, but like Generations Classic Sonic also wasn't like how Classic Sonic controls on the Mega Drive, but it was still fun to play. It still felt, I don't know if right's the right word, but it still felt satisfying to run through places as Classic Sonic. This game, not quite so much, and I think that's kind of a shame really. It's like Sonic Team, ever since moving away from the Mega Drive, it seems like they haven't really understood the appeal of classic Sonic like they used to. And it's also why I'm glad that you had Taxman and his team handling Mania rather than having Sonic Team do it.
Stay calm, and you'll figure out the way forward.
I just want to smash everything and level the place.
Classic Sonic's inclusion here feels a little bit cynical, as I sort of alluded to earlier. Which, again, like, you know, they want to bring Classic Sonic in, whatever. I'm okay with that being a thing. That's a shortcut, totally intentional. But, like, when they don't pull off the gameplay, that's what hurts it for me. It's not the fact that Classic is here. I'm okay with him being here. But, like, play to his strengths, you know? Like, if you're going to use him, he has a very popular, beloved gameplay style where you can go really fast and do all kinds of cool jumps and tricks, from rolling down hills at the right time and jumping from platform to platform at the right time. And to not properly capitalise on that, it's disappointing, really. And that thing in the background, that just looks like the episode 2 boss. I'm not sure if it's meant to be a nod to anything from the 3 and Knuckles Death Egg, but it just looks like the boss from Sonic 4 episode 2. Does my avatar need a moustache? We shall see. See, like that there, because I got an S rank, I've got to have another round of unlockables. I've got the soap shoes, which I need. But that seems like the sort of thing that maybe if a speedrunner deliberately did something to slow themselves down to not get that S, they'd probably end up saving time in the long run because of the menu. Remember back when we did the Zavok fight, and in the background you could see all those little cartoon animal people locked away on the Death Egg. I think we just killed them.
Neither do you, dude.
Don't remind me, dude.
I do like Albert and Cubert. I think they're one of the highlights of the Pontac and Graf era of Sonic writing.
And by tactical retreat, you mean...
I'm gonna be honest, I feel like eventually I will miss Pontac and Graf showing up occasionally as writers. Because I like what they did with Sonic Colors. It worked really well there, it was the right kind of tone for their writing, and I don't mind us having a Sonic Colors type game every now and then. The problem I had with that was them trying to force that kind of writing into games like this, where they maybe should have took it a little bit more seriously. But you know, like, kind of being difficult. Oh god, the teeth again. The teeth with the monocle. It's a look.
The Sonics have made an opening for us. We can't just let that go to waste.
This is the moment we've been waiting for.
Because I feel like there's this talking point that comes up every now and then of, like, Sonic fans don't know what they want. In some cases that's true, like some people will just nitpick everything. But a lot of the time I feel like it's because the Sonic series has been so varied over time. There's a lot of different options, and I feel like there's space for a good handful of different options. Like, we don't have to pick a style of Sonic game and do that for the rest of the time. I feel like Boost Sonic can coexist with 2D Sonic, which can coexist with Adventure Sonic or Frontier Sonic. As long as like they pick a direction and they stick with it and the games end up cohesive, it can all work. Like hell, they could get even more creative if they wanted, do spin-offs with other characters and that. I feel like it's kind of a shame that Shadow the Hedgehog got poor reception, because like that could have been a good starting point for other Sonic characters to have their own dedicated spin-offs. Like, Shadow the Hedgehog has its problems, but again, I feel like a lot of those problems could have been resolved in a sequel, or at least minimised in a sequel. I'm not too worried about red rings if it hasn't become obvious already. I'm a bit worried about some of the curves, the turns in this level though, because this game, another way in which they've simplified the boost gameplay, Sonic doesn't have a drift anymore like he had in Unleashed and Generations, so it's an automated drift instead. And that automated drift, it's kind of hit and miss as to whether that kicks in where you want it to. But again, that's another thing that makes it almost feel like they're trying to wean people off of Boost Sonic. Unleashed Sonic and Generations Sonic varies very much a skill level. As you get better at the game, you can do better. And yeah, like the levels are built with that in mind, like less than 2 minutes for the big level. Yeah, you know, I've said that already, but like there was that kind of idea that a level would be rewarding to replay and do better at, whereas here it feels like it really is just holding your hand through all of it, like with these scripted sections like in Chemical Plant, like with the automated drift here where you basically just hold down boost and hope for the best. I think it's kind of a shame that the public perception of Boost Sonic probably will be tainted by this particular game long term. Because this is like, the meta era has kind of worn on a lot of people. I feel like that's really obvious at this point. A lot of people are sick of it, and that's why a lot of people are looking forward to Frontiers so much. But I don't want us to forget about how much fun the fast-paced levels in Unleashed were, in Generations were, things like that.
To your funeral. Infinite, do it!
Take this. What is that?
Har, har. That, my spiky little trinity, is null space.
Null space?
It's a little something that the Phantom Ruby cooked up. A closed-off space where absolutely nothing exists.
It sounds like a really cool idea, Eggman. I'm sure there's going to be a lot for us to do to break out of this null space.
Buddy, don't! You'll be sucked in too!
I was trying to be clever, but apparently my Spider-Man powers don't work in null space.
Since you always destroy the power source of my weapons, I decided to learn from my mistakes.
Tails just looks so dumbfounded on the floor right there.